Hi, I'm Kat from the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project, and we are so excited to have you here today. We have a very special podcast episode. We have the one and only Ben here, who is our head trainer for both our Fit Father and Fit Mother programs, and he is going to share his story. And you're just going to be able to meet him and see how awesome he is, what our members already know. They already love him and adore him, but let's not take any more time. Let's jump right into it. Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. This is a long time coming. I've heard this should have been happened a while ago, but we're here now. So yeah, let's do this.
We're here. All right. Tell everyone here who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I am 41 years old. I reside just turned 41 years old. May I add? I reside in Bristow, Virginia, which is about 45 minutes southwest of Washington, D.C. I was born and raised in Virginia, spent most of my life here. I have two boys at home. We have an 11-year-old and 8-year-old. And I have been married to my beautiful bride for 16 years now. And I've been with FFP, just came across my 5-year anniversary. So I don't know if you knew that, Kat, but yeah, just 5 years a few days ago. And yeah, that's pretty much my backstory.
Awesome. All right. One of the incredible pieces of the Fit Father and Fit Mother project is that all of our team members have walked this journey in some way. Everyone here has struggled with their weight, whether it was trying to lose weight, whether they wanted to gain weight, gain muscle. They've had a journey that they can connect with members on. And you've had one of those journeys. And I don't know if many of the members know that. I think they see you and they think there's this fit trainer, right? And he's always been that, and he's never experienced, the struggle. But you've been there. So let's hear it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I guess I don't want to go too far back, but I was always the chubby kid, I guess I would say, growing up. And as I got older, I was pretty much, I would say, the definition of skinny fat. I don't necessarily have the best genetics. Sorry, mom and dad, if you guys are listening to this. I know it's not your fault. That was the hand you were dealt as well, but that's just kind of the way it was growing up. And I was always active as a kid, played all sorts of sports, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, martial arts. I did a ton of different sports. I was always active, but I was just always that little chubby kid. And we're talking about in the 1980s here. And my mom actually had the foresight to always make sure we ate our veggies, always make sure we had something green, as she would say, in all of our meals. So it's not like I was eating the worst either. She had a very powerful and very strong influence on my life that I didn't know until I was an adult and I fell in love with this industry. But yeah, I just could never make the progress that I wanted to, even at a young age. And then when I got older in high school, still doing sports, lifting weights, taking weight training in school, etc. And I still just couldn't make the progress that I was looking at. And I have these two friends that always sticks out to me. There's one guy that I lifted with every single week, and he would literally, go out to eat 6 days a week with his family. They're, frozen pizzas sky high in their chest freezer, and this kid's like sporting a six pack. I'm like, what is happening? I have my mom making sure I'm eating veggies, and we're drinking a ton of water, and like, why am I this chubby kid? It just didn't make sense. And I had this other buddy who would literally, when I go to Safs after school, eat 3 pieces of white bread as his snack, right? And same thing, sporting a six pack, totally ripped. And you hear about those kids, or when they're teenagers or young adults, that can eat whatever they want, and not gain a single pound. Well, that wasn't me. So by the time college rolled around, I had put on, I think I was about 180 going into college, and then I ballooned up to 215 after my freshman year, right? So,
And how tall are you for people listening?
yeah, so
That's important.
yeah, so yeah, of course, for sure, I'm 6 foot flat. So instead of that, freshman 15 that a lot of people tend to gain, mine was quite a bit more than that for sure. And then college lifestyle, fraternity lifestyle, lots of pizza, lots of beer, and then all of a sudden, just one day, I just realized, hey, I'm borderline obese if I wasn't there already, up at 215, and I realized, hey, this is not the lifestyle I want. So for me, it was kind of like a light switch, and there's one day I said, you know what, this is the last day. I'm not going out like this, and ordered myself a pizza. I ate half of it because I knew it was going to be the last time I would just gorge myself like that. And then the next day, the rest is history. So this was my summer year between junior and senior year in college. And that was 20 years ago this past summer. So I just kind of came across that milestone of never looking back. And my lifestyle has never been the same ever since then.
How? And, like, when I think about being in college, to make a decision in college, "Okay, I'm gonna start eating healthy," and you're in a frat too. Like, how did you handle that? What did that even look like?
Yeah, that's definitely there were some challenges because I still wanted to live the quote college lifestyle. I still wanted to have fun, especially in my senior year. Right, it was my last year, and I still wanted to be with my friends and hang out and have a good time. So I always tried to find a way to implement some sort of healthy change in my life. Right, so I still splurged on occasion. I still had fun at parties and such, but I found a way to eat healthier throughout the week. Right, so we would always have what they call brotherhood dinners, where we would all get together, and then usually it would be pizza or Chinese takeout Chinese food or some unhealthy stuff like that, where I didn't want to miss out on hanging out with them, so I would just bring my own. Right, every once in a while, of course, I would still enjoy the pizza or the Chinese food with them. I didn't want to deprive myself either, but most days I would just bring my own food so I could still hang out with them. Or I made sure I always got to the gym before classes in the morning. Sometimes a little harder than other days at the 8 a.m. classes, but I always still found a way to be active, and I would incorporate more of an active lifestyle with doing sports with them, trying to get them to run with me and to hit the gym with me so I could still spend time with them. So it was a balance, and wasn't the easiest situation, but that's why I always tell some of our members that if I could do it in college, in a fraternity, and still lose the weight, that you could do it too, and whatever lifestyle obstacles you may have going on. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but I'm glad I did it, and I lost about half of the weight between my junior and senior year, and then the rest I lost in my senior year going on into adulthood, I guess you would say.
And how does that change? So, you've had 20 years now of keeping the weight off, and I'm sure that looks different when you're a young man coming out of college, right, on your own versus trying to keep the weight off as, a newlywed and then as a dad and of little ones and a dad of now older ones. Like, what has that process looked like and how has that changed?
Yeah, so I guess I'm blessed and potentially cursed with my mindset and attitude. I'm very tunnel vision, so when I get my mindset on something, that's all I focus on. So it was a lot easier coming out of college, as you said, as a young adult and not married yet, and basically living my own lifestyle. But as work priorities start coming about, as you're newlywed, as you said, and of course being a parent, your priorities change a little bit. Your day to day changes a lot a bit, and I think I was lucky enough to create habits from an early age when I first started doing this, where I was able to continue, not maybe not the lifestyle that I wanted to live completely, but the major tenets of it, the major staples of it, with at least doing something active every day, with at least making healthy choices, surrounding myself with positive people who have a strong impact on this lifestyle and supporting me and knowing this is the life I want to live. It's definitely helped a tremendous amount.
And what a great point. I think everyone thinks of, okay, I need more movement and I need to be eating that perfect plate, my vegetables and my protein. Everyone thinks of that hydrating. But you mentioned surrounding yourself with those positive people who are going to continue to encourage you to stay on track. That I don't think is often added in to that realm of what we think of. And that is so important. And I'm happy you mentioned that so members can hear that. Like, 20 years of success came with support from others too around you. So, did
Yeah,
your
that's fair.
family latch on right away when you said you wanted to make this change, or was there some push back from talking about making a different lifestyle change?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's pushback from family, but more so from friends. And maybe not pushback might not be the right word, but it may be more uh, I'm going to work happy hours, and not, partaking with them, or when you have company or office pizza parties, why aren't you have some? It's okay. It's not a big deal. And of course, it would have been okay, if I wanted to have a slice here and there. It's totally fine. We got to live normal life too. But on the other hand, I had a goal in mind that I wanted to reach and strive for. And so there's a little bit of not pushback, but I would say maybe not as supportive as I could have needed or used from some of my peers or coworkers or office mates. But eventually, once they saw this type of lifestyle I was living, they saw how good I was feeling and uh, just how happy it made me. They eventually got on board, and then ideally or hopefully, I was able to rub off on them a little bit as well.
All right, so he mentioned happy hours and pizza parties. Those are not with the Fit Father Project. I wanna make sure that's
No,
everyone
it's a
knows
different
that.
company.
So, let's kind of go through that. That's a great chance for us to open up. How did you end up here? How did you end up a trainer at the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project?
Yeah, so like I said, I had fell in love with the journey when I lost my weight between junior and senior year of college, so much that I wanted to make a change in my studies at school. But unfortunately, at the University of Virginia, where I went, go Who's, they did not offer exercise science or kinesiology or anything like that. So I didn't really have any options at that point, and I didn't want to transfer with only 1 year left before I graduated. So what I decided to do is I would just move forward with my normal career path, and I put that in my back pocket for later. So I spent time after college working as a researcher, software tester, quality assurance. I worked in tech for a little while, and then 7, 8 years later, after I graduated, I realized, hey, you know what? I want to align profession with passion, and so I made the difficult decision that I was going to quit my job to get my personal trainer certification. And this was in 2010, I believe, 2011, somewhere around there. And I was working for an amazing, very, very progressive company called the Motley Fool, which I'm sure some of you who are listening may have heard of this company. And they were super progressive with how they treated their employees. And before I left, I pitched them on the idea of potentially having kind of like a wellness person on staff, right? Someone that could help their bottom line, help with their ROI, maybe reduce some absenteeism, boost productivity, increase happiness, things like that. And this was, like I said, in 2010, before corporate wellness was wasn't even a thing yet, or maybe in its infancy. And they bought the idea, they loved it, and I created a position at this company where I switched over from quality assurance tech work to doing this more wellness promotion. And I did that for a few years, and it was basically a dream job. I got to create the job from scratch, and I was very appreciative of that opportunity. But my wife and I wanted to be at home with our young babies and then toddlers and our infants and then toddlers as they grew. So we made another very difficult decision. We both quit our secure full-time salary jobs to go more self-employed, so we could work at home and be with them as they grew up. And then, so I worked for myself as a trainer, online and in person. And fast forward a few years later, they're back in grade school, and I was ready to rejoin the workforce. And luckily enough, I found the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project, and the rest is history. And then I've been with you guys ever since.
I mean, that's incredible to trust that like love of family and say, "Hey, it's gonna work out. We're gonna make it work." And now you get to
Well,
help
it didn't always
other
seem that
people.
way. It wasn't always that smooth, but
Yeah, that's true. Looking back, like it worked out so well, but I am positive that was extremely stressful when you're in the moment.
a little
But
bit, little bit.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that. Like when it was stressful, did you feel yourself ever starting to slipping on your own health, or did that almost boost you to stay on top of your health during that stressful time?
I would say more the latter. It definitely boosted me. Like I said, I've tunnel vision with my goals, and I never want to waver from them. But I could definitely feel the mental stress coming on with, obviously, with now with a newborn or a young kid and a newborn in the house, and trying to make ends meet financially, and we're working for ourselves. And I was lucky enough to have an amazing, amazing wife who was super supportive of this type of journey of trying to make it on my own. So that definitely helped. But staying with your healthy eating habits, staying with your daily movement, taking the time I would make sure I'd get outside every day just to be in the sun and be near water and uh, get a little bit of that earthing, get my feet in the grass just to kind of ground myself, literally uh, ground myself into the earth every day just to make myself realize, hey, I'm doing this for the right thing. It's all going to be okay. And luckily it was.
Hey, it's Dr. Ray. I want to quickly pause this episode to thank you for listening to this Fit Father podcast. I am just blown away at how amazing this podcast has become. I had no idea when I started FFP around 10 years ago that it would grow into such an impactful mission. And I want to let you know that I am so grateful to be connected to you in this lifetime. And on behalf of me and my entire team, we are so grateful to be in your life, helping you get and stay healthier for your family. That's what I want to share. Just some gratitude from my heart to yours. Let's get back to today's episode.
Okay, so you're over here at the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project, and you start being a trainer here, and now we're taking off. Talk to us about what you do for those who are listening who aren't members. Like, what do you do for the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project?
Yeah, so we have a wide range of members coming to us from all varying fitness levels. Obviously, the majority are trying to lose weight or change their body composition, and but they all have different potentially limitations or dietary restrictions or injuries that they may be dealing with, etc. So, as the head trainer at the FFP and FMP, I'm here to kind of help make their journey theirs, whether it's through our routine exercise modifications for movements that fit their needs a little bit better, or like I said, they have dietary restrictions, they can't eat certain foods. How can they mold our principles, our eating habits into their lifestyle? And I can help create that for them, kind of a little bit of a cheerleader as they go through the program, and just making sure that I'm in their corner to help support them however they need it throughout the journey, because it can be a very long journey for people, and it is very easy to slip up, of course, and that's totally natural. It's perfectly normal for anyone going through this, because there's so many ups and downs and challenges, and I just want them to know that I'm here to help support them and help walk them through with anything they need.
Yeah, it's kind of that added community too, right? Not only are you that trainer, you're also, like you said, you're in their corner. Like, you're rooting for them, you care, and I think that's different, right? That's something that's unique to the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project, is that we have an entire staff who really is rooting for you. We want you to do well. We want you to succeed. We want you to be able to create your own perfect plate with your family, and you get to watch these members do that and be on this journey with them, which is incredible. Now, while you're here at the Fit Father and Fit Mother Project, how has your kind of fitness goals changed? Because you're at 20 years, you've lost your weight, right? So now what are you trying to do? What are those new goals that you've kind of started to walk into?
Yeah, so that's kind of once again, I guess the gift and the curse of this mindset that I have. So I ended up losing 65 pounds. That was my total amount that I lost. And when I got to my lowest, I realized it was just a little too low for my size, for my height. So I wanted to build back up. But in the last 20 years, I've cycled through so many different challenges, either challenges that were presented to me from like physical, actual, not like detrimental challenges, but like actual physical challenges for either, gaining muscle and building my body back up versus cycling back, trying to cut back on body fat a little bit, going through different dietary changes, eating primal at one point, paleo at one point, keto at one point. Just I like to keep things interesting and try different things. And I think I've evolved to the point now where, first of all, I thought I knew a lot coming in here working before I started working for the company. But what Dr. Anthony has shown and introduced to me has been eye-opening. I feel like I've maybe had half of my fitness journey, leading up to the company, 15 years of it. And then these last 5 have just been like another half. It's been that much information. And I feel like I'm kind of evolving now into more of I don't want to say maintenance lifestyle. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like to push through to certain goals, and but trying to find that balance between having a better overall, healthier lifestyle, not just reaching blindly for a certain goal. Uh, uh, so I guess there's kind of a bit of a balance, I guess I would say, from trying to build muscle, trying to shed fat, trying to stay cut, trying to do different dietary challenges, to more of okay, what is going to be healthiest for me and my family and my 2 small kids in the long run, right? That's all that matters at the end of the day. So being there for them, being present for them, while also giving myself that taste of a challenge that I so desire.
Yeah, and you do have another unique perspective of you can connect with members who are trying to lose weight because you've been there, you've kept this weight off, you know that. But you also like trying to put muscle on. And I know we have talked about this a lot of that wasn't natural for you. Like your body didn't, it wasn't like, oh, you were just working out and lifting weights and, muscle mass, was bulking and you were just growing. You've also stepped into that where you can connect with members who have switched over to old school muscle and are really working to put on muscle mass because you put a ton of effort into that for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I think a problem that I had for many years, and I probably didn't discover intently enough until I started here, was not eating correctly. Not that I was eating bad foods, but not eating enough foods, especially when you with that caloric surplus you need for growth, right? I spent so long trying to lose weight and body fat for this journey that it's hard to switch over, right? To eat at that surplus. And I think for many years, I sabotaged my success and potential results by, burning away at some really necessary lean muscle, lean tissue. And I think I've learned enough from that, from my personal experience, that I can help with our members who cycle between the two programs. Because, for those who aren't listening, who may not know, we have two main tracks on the FFP side. We have the FF30X, which is more of a weight loss, fat loss, body composition changing type program. And then Old School Muscle, as Kat mentioned, OSM is more of that muscle building, growth, development type program. Very, very different programs, very, very different protocols and lifestyles. And I think I was caught somewhere in the middle. And so I understand that struggle for sure. But learning what I've learned along the way for myself, and then, like I said, from Dr. A, and the necessary steps it takes to either lose body fat or build muscle, very different journeys. I can definitely help with our members who have gotten to their point where they're happy with their weight and they've lost everything they wanted to, but they're ready to switch over. It's a great place to be, and I can definitely understand that from their point of view.
How did you realize, because you said like you had to realize you were not eating enough and kind of burning away at that muscle mass. How did you figure that out? If someone is listening right now, how would they think about it for themselves?
Yeah, it's definitely a process. As I alluded to before, with something like FF30X, it's a lot easier, right? I mean, it's easier to eat at a deficit. You don't necessarily have to calculate your calories to the T. You definitely can, and we have some members that do, which is perfectly fine. But for most of our members who are on our FF30X plan, they don't necessarily have to, right? We kind of keep it simple enough where you're making healthy choices, you're moving daily, you're going to see changes for sure. But with OSM, with Old School Muscle and muscle building programs, you need to be a lot more tuned in with your macros, right? You gotta know about your caloric intake, how much you're eating, how much you need for growth, etc. And I thought I was doing that plenty well, plenty good, but I don't think I was eating enough to match my lifestyle. I like to have a daily workout. Most days of the week I'm lifting, but I also like to take multiple walks throughout the day as well. So I don't think I was matching. So my weights were going up, and that could have just been a central nervous system boost from that perspective. I wasn't understanding I was able to lift more, but my body weight was not going up, right? Or my measurements weren't going up. And I think it
Sure.
just got to a point where, hey, you know what? I'm not eating enough to support my needs. And then obviously through OSM and these detailed plans, I realized, hey, you know what? I need to be doing some calorie cycling, which we break down in the program, about eating at that surplus that's necessary for growth. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge, but it is possible once you dial in everything, and if you're willing to as well.
And thankfully, we have a team who can help you do that. Ben has figured it
Absolutely.
out. Look, Ben's been here. He's figured it out. He's done this hard work. You can come to our team and join. Dr. Anthony's put the plan together. Ben's tested it. He's run through it all, and he can
That's
help you
right.
perfect it. You don't have to do any of that part now if you're listening. Just come
You just
join
show
in.
up.
You would just show up. That's that's the best part.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your next goals, Ben? Tell me. What are your workout goals?
Well, as you know, Kat, we've talked about this a ton. I was doing keto most recently for myself, and I realized I was doing it for 9 months. And once again, with that blessing and the curse of the tunnel vision, I did it for 9 months straight. I didn't come and go. I was in 9 months in ketosis, and I realized it wasn't for me. I kind of had the opposite effect. I had some great results up front. I wanted that challenge for that 20-year anniversary. I wanted to do something completely different. I'd never done keto before, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And then my body started revolting and going back the other way. My cortisol levels were just too high. I was storing more body fat than I was comfortable with. And I said, you know what? Hey, I love the workout routine I've been doing, this heavier lifting routine, but let's bring some carbs back into the mix and see what happens. And it's been a very welcome experience so far. It's only been a couple of weeks since I've gotten off, but I'm loving it again. And to tie that in with what we recommend with our programs. I mean, keto, if it's an option for prospective members out there, or for current members who want to do it, by all means, give it a shot. But we recommend a little bit more balanced lifestyle, right? I mean, keto is not the most sustainable for most people long term. Carbs are not the enemy, and I didn't think they were an enemy either. I just wanted personal challenge. Let me just clarify that. So we're more about a more healthy, maintainable lifestyle, long-term lifestyle change. And as I said before, I think that's kind of where I'm headed now, personally. With a little hint of a challenge with this heavier lifting, but a little bit more maintained. It's so much easier having the carbs in there, birthday parties and social celebrations, and I'm just so glad to be back in that normal lifestyle, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I think sustainability, being able to have a program that it doesn't really feel like a program almost. You're like, okay, I'm eating a healthy plate in front of me. Maybe you're boosting how much protein you're having, or okay, I'm focusing on my hydration, but you're eating a healthy plate of food at all of your meals, right? That's sustainable. Like you said, you can go to a birthday party. You can have these days where you can have holidays, because that's just one day. It doesn't matter. You're just eating healthy, and there's one day where there's a holiday, or there's one day with a birthday, and you keep moving, versus like the keto or the paleo, where they are great tools, but are they sustainable forever? You had an interesting experience of, you did this for, you all need to really listen here. When Ben tries something, he goes all in. Like when he said he was doing this for 9 months, this was no cheating, like completely all in. There was nothing that varied. He was in ketosis for 9 months, like 100%. There, no doubt in my mind there. And then you experienced this where your body was angry, like revolted at you. And now it's like, just get back to the basics. Like just eat these healthy foods. And it sounds, like you said, it sounds simple, which I don't want to say it's simple, because it really isn't, with all of like what the world puts out there for us and what media shows us and what we can get. But it's more simple than most things.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I just want to clarify. I mean, if for those out there who want to do something like keto, if that motivates you, obviously a lot of these diets work because they all have something similar in common. You're getting rid of a lot of the junk food. You're eating more, hopefully more, nutritious, whole-based type foods. And that's why a lot of these diets tend to work. But what we promote at FFP and FMP is more about that, as Kat mentioned a couple of times, just eating that perfect plate. And for those who don't know, you're just dividing a plate into 3, right? It's so simple. You just put 50% of the plate, fill it up with veggies, 25% a lean protein, 25% of a healthy complex carb or a healthy fat, something like that, and boom, you're good to go. And it's just so much more easy and maintainable to do something like this long term, right? And I don't want to put down any type of diet. You can do it if it motivates you and it jumpstarts you maybe and can help get you going. But yeah, it's just so much easier to live a normal lifestyle in our society by just promoting moderation and making healthier choices and and you don't have to do anything crazy or crazy fad if you are trying to make changes.
Okay, now we need fun facts about Ben. Ben, what do you do? What do you do as a hobby? I bet most of these people listening are members. They want to know more about you. What do you do in your free time? What do we got?
I mean, outside of exercise?
Yes. Like I said, guys, he's super committed. So exercise is his hobby. But in addition to that, what else do you do?
Yeah, I think it will surprise a lot of people. I'm very heavy into fantasy sports. I prefer the daily option, and I like that because there's a big game theory element of that, and that goes back to I was in engineering school at UVA, and I kind of had that mindset, right? That's why I ended up in tech for a little bit of that process oriented thinking mindset. So I'm really big into game theory, and that type of outlet. So between that and obviously exercise, love spending time with my boys. They are at that age where they're super into sports right now. So basketball, baseball, martial arts, things like that. So coaching them and playing with them and teaching them and just being part of their life is it's just so huge for me right now, because you're never going to get that time back, right? So I'm just so thankful to be at a company like the Fit Father Project and Fit Mother Project, where they allow that type of lifestyle where I can be with them. Because without family, without your health, I mean, what do you have, right? And so it's definitely a big part of my life, being in their life.
Yeah. What teams are you cheering with your boys? When you and your boys are watching a game, who are you cheering for?
Well, definitely my alma mater, University of Virginia, all sports for sure. That is probably number one. I'm a big basketball fan, and football fan, and we don't have the greatest teams here in the Washington D.C. area. So the Wizards, and then I guess now they're called the Commanders, are the two big professional teams we cheer for, and the Nets, of course, as well. But we're struggling all around here, Kat. All we got's UVA to propel us through. So teaching them right, at least with that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We will go with that. Go Wizards. That's who we're cheering for.
Sure.
It's
I
gonna be a
mean,
tough
we can do that.
year. Sure, we can do that. Okay. If you are someone who is thinking about the program, or, they're kind of where you were when you realized, like, hey, I'm overweight, I need to do something. What's that advice you would give for that member or prospective member who's sitting there right now?
Yeah, I would say you just got to start somewhere. I mean, what we try to promote in our program material, I mean, there's a lot of information, and it's very helpful information. It's very scientific and evidence-based. Dr. Anthony does want you guys to know why we're promoting what we're promoting, and not just blindly doing something. It's supposed to be a lifestyle change after all, not just a quick fix, but just starting somewhere. There is so much you can do, so much you could do just to get going. It doesn't have to be a lot either, right? If you're a big soda drinker, for example, just cutting out soda can make a tremendous impact. You will be so surprised how much better you feel if you just switch out your soda for your water consumption, something like that. Or if you live in more of a sedentary lifestyle, just getting outside and moving. I mean, we're not talking about a lot, maybe 15, 20 minutes every day, even after dinner is a preferable option. Maybe in the morning to get that morning sunlight on your skin, in your eyes. It can work amazing wonders just to make you feel better, not just on the short-term micro scale on a day-to-day basis, but long-term. You'll realize how much better you feel. You might be living in pain and you don't even know it because it's your normal, right? Until you make these changes. Could be as small as just, removing that junk food from your house, creating a grocery list just one time, one day, do your shopping, and if you don't have that food in your house, you got to fall back onto something, right? It's just basically small changes, hydrating more, giving yourself that extra glass or two of water a day, starting your day off with that instead of just reaching for those caffeinated drinks that, will make you feel good temporarily, but will give you that crash later on. It doesn't have to be a lot. We're about stacking wins upon wins here at the FFP and FMP, and you can absolutely do that if you start somewhere. And that's just kind of the key, just starting somewhere.
Awesome. That's a great way to wrap it up. Start somewhere. Go and see Ben in the Brotherhood and Sisterhood pages. Once you join the program, you're added to this great community, and Ben, as well as our other coaches, are there to support you. And for current members, remember that every Wednesday you can turn in your questions to Ben and he will answer them live on the Q&A on Fridays for you to see, which is just another amazing benefit of being a member and being part of the community, is you get that interaction with Ben. You get to ask those personal questions, and we are so happy to be on this journey with you. Please check us out on our YouTube channel for more amazing content. Listen to other podcasts. Send your questions in to us so that our team can talk with you. And we will talk with you on the next episode.